Now on BBC One, on your quotation marks, get set, go.
Joining us today, Alison French from Abbots Langley in Hertfordshire, Ian Harwood from Hale in Cheshire, and Howard Balkin from Salford in Manchester. They're all here to play Quotation Marks. And thank you for joining us for this new quiz testing your knowledge about all sorts of quotations. The rules are straightforward. I'll explain them as we go along. So let's get underway with round one. This round is multiple choice. Each contestant will get 2 quotations and all they have to do is decide who might have said them from the choice of 3. 2 points for a right answer. Okay, and the first of your 2 quotations, Alison. Who said, "Nothing is as certain as death and taxes"? Was it A, Gordon Brown, B, Ken Dodd, or C, Benjamin Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin?
Correct. And who said, "I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them"? Was it A, Enid Blyton, B, Thomas Hardy, or C, Ian Fleming?
Thomas Hardy.
Actually, it was Ian Fleming. Ian, your 2 quotations. Who said, "I was born for soccer, just as Beethoven was born for music"? Was it A, Eric Cantona, B, Pele, or C, Peter Beardsley?
A, Eric Cantona.
Actually, it was Pele. You must have said it in a different accent. I didn't do it correctly. And here's the next one. Whose wife said to him, "Why don't you write books people can read"? Was it A, Jeffrey Archer, B, James Joyce, or C, Leo Tolstoy?
C, Leo Tolstoy.
No, it was James Joyce, obviously said in by Nora Barnacle. Howard, your quotations. Who described herself as looking like Barbara Cartland without the vitamins? Was it A, Julie Goodyear, B, Victoria Wood, or C, Jo Brand?
Jo Brand.
No, it was B, Victoria Wood. And who said, "Man will occasionally stumble over the truth, but usually manages to pick himself up, walk over or around it, and carry on"? Was it A, William Gladstone, B, Winston Churchill, or C, Harry S. Truman?
Harry S. Truman.
It was Winston Churchill. And at the end of the first round, the scores are Ian and Howard tying with no points yet, and Alison in the lead with 2 points. Well, this second round is called Talking Heads. As you can see, there's an attractive lineup of faces on the screen. Each person has put their acting skills to great use and will recite a quotation from either a film, television programme, book, play, or a song. All our contestants have to do is choose a face and answer the first question for 2 points and the second question for 1 point. So let's start with you, Alison. Name your face.
Has to be Alison.
Of course it would have to be Alison. So you've chosen Alison, and this is the question. Which comedy character had this as his catchphrase?
"Knowing me, knowing you. Aha."
Alan Partridge.
Correct. And for a bonus point, who played Alan Partridge?
Can't remember his name.
Can't remember. Steve Coogan. Ian, choose your face.
I'll go for Kevin and Chris, please.
Kevin and Chris, this is the question. This is a quotation from a film starring Julia Roberts.
Just how obscene a amount of cash are we talking here? Profane or really offensive?
Really offensive.
I like him so much.
Pretty Woman.
Correct. And for a bonus point, who was Julia Roberts' male co-star?
Richard Gere.
Correct. And Howard, choose a face.
I'll go for Ian.
You'll go for Ian, and this is the question. From which song do these lyrics come?
"Alas, my love, ye do me wrong, to cast me off discourteously."
Don't know.
I could sing it, but I'll spare you. It's Greensleeves. And for a bonus point, who's commonly believed to have written the tune to Greensleeves?
William Shakespeare.
The tune.
Oh, the tune.
The tune, Henry VIII. Henry
Right.
VIII. All right, Alison, choose a different face.
Pam and James, please.
You've chosen Pam and James, and the question is this. From which film does this exchange come?
"Dying is like falling off a cliff. You've never fallen off a cliff in your life, have you, Ollie?"
Yes, I did, when I met you.
Way out west?
Love story. Ollie, Oliver, that was the
Oliver.
clue in the name. And for the extra point, name one of the two who played the main characters in the film.
Ali McGraw?
And the other one?
Ryan O'Neill?
Absolutely correct. All right, Ian, choose your face.
Alex, please.
You've chosen Alex, and your question is, name the musical.
I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way.
South Pacific.
Correct. And who wrote South Pacific for an extra mark?
Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Correct. Well done. And Howard, you're left with just one face. It's Laurie's face. And this is the question. Who wrote these words?
Oh, east is east, and west is west, and never the twain shall meet.
Is it Kubla Khan? No. I can't remember.
It was Rudyard Kipling.
Rudyard Kipling, yeah.
And for an extra point, name the little human boy in Kipling's Jungle Book.
Mowgli.
Correct. And at the end of that round, the scores are Howard with 1 point, Alison on 5 points, and Ian climbs into the lead with 6 points. Now, round 3 is our subject board, and on the screen there are 6 categories. Each contestant will choose one category, and they'll then have 90 seconds to answer as many questions as they can. If they can't answer the question immediately, they can ask for a clue, but be warned, everybody, the more clues you have, the fewer points you gain, and there are 5 points at stake if you answer correctly straight away. So, let's start with Howard. Which is your favourite subject there?
I'll go for politics.
All right. You've chosen politics, and your time starts now. Who said the cardinal rule of politics, never get caught in bed with a live man or a dead woman?
Clinton?
No.
Kennedy?
No.
Clue?
US actor born in 1931?
Ronald Reagan?
No.
Clue?
Had Jeannie as a friend?
Clue?
Had brother called Bobby in a famous long-running soap?
Larry Hagman?
Correct. Who said, I'm pretty good at soufflés, which is a politician's speciality after all. Lots of hot air turned into confection.
Clue?
British politician born 1946.
Clue?
Former barrister and TV journalist.
Clue?
Home Secretary.
Michael Howard?
No.
Next.
Okay, it was Jack Straw. Who said, politics are too serious a matter to be left to the politicians?
Clue?
General and statesman.
Clue?
Leader of the Free French during World War II.
Pass.
Has an airport named after him.
Charles de Gaulle?
Correct. Who said, the main difference for the world if I had been shot rather than Kennedy is that Onassis probably wouldn't have married my wife.
Clue?
Dates 1894 to 1971.
Clue?
Kennedy contemporary, leader of his country, 1953 to 1964.
Clue?
His protege turned critic Brezhnev succeeded him.
Gorbachev?
No.
Khrushchev?
Yes, Khrushchev, just before the end, in time, correct. It's very tough, isn't it, with the clock ticking away like that. Alison, which subject would you like?
Entertainment, please.
All right, you've chosen entertainment, and your time starts now. What were described by the actor John Sessions as like watching a tea towel dry on the radiator?
Clue?
We export some of ours and import some of theirs.
Clue?
Regularly get the highest viewing figures.
Soaps?
Yes, correct. Which popular film and TV star of the 50s and 60s was famously described as wholesome as a bowl of cornflakes and at least as sexy?
Clue?
Co-starred with Cary Grant?
Catherine Hepburn?
No.
Clue?
Had her own long-running show on US TV?
Mary Tyler Moore?
No.
Clue?
Both her names begin with the same letter. No?
No.
Doris Day. What did Steve Martin define as any well-known TV or movie star who looks like he spends more than 2 hours working with his hair?
Clue?
He's one himself, I suppose.
Clue?
Actors and pop stars collectively?
Clue?
Famous for being famous.
I can't think.
We're basically looking for a celebrity. To where was Noel Coward referring when he said, I'm not very keen on it, I'd rather have a nice cup of cocoa, really?
England?
No.
Clue?
Famous suburb.
Clue?
Very famous landmark on a hill.
Clue?
Hooray for it.
Hollywood?
Correct. What was C.P. Scott from the Manchester Guardian talking about when he wrote, "The world is half Greek, half Latin, no good can come of it"? And the answer was television. A tough one. Ian, what subject would you like?
I'll have travel, please.
You've chosen travel, and your time starts now. New Zealand is a country of 30,000 million sheep, 3 million of whom think they're human. Who said that?
Clue, please.
Actor and comedian born in Melbourne.
Barry Humphries.
Correct. Who said, "I can never forgive God for creating the French"?
Clue, please.
British actor and writer of Russian descent, born 1921.
Clue.
Wrote the play Romanov and Juliet, first performed in 1956.
Tom Stoppard.
No.
Clue.
Played Poirot.
Peter Ustinov.
Correct. Who said, "Apart from cheese and tulips, the main product of Holland is Advocaat, a drink made from lawyers"?
Clue, please.
English journalist, writer and broadcaster.
Another clue.
Chronicler of life in Cricklewood.
Clue.
Regular on the news quiz and Call My Bluff.
Barry Took.
No. No, don't know. Alan Corrin. Who said, "For breakfast the first morning I was in France, I had a teeming B-day of coffee, followed by porridge and frogs"?
Clue.
Indian-born British actor, writer and comedian.
Clue.
Nervous breakdowns have interrupted his career. Seacombe, Sellers and...
Spike Milligan.
Correct. Who said, "American newspapers are too big and their lavatory paper is too small"?
Winston Churchill.
No.
Clue.
British politician, 1881 to 1951. And the answer was Ernest Bevin. Well done. That really is a very difficult round. And at the end of it, the scores are Howard with 4 points, Alison with 8 points, and Ian in the lead with 11 points. Our next round is called Gossip Columns. It's played individually against the clock. 2 lists of 6 names will appear on the screen. There'll be 4 quotations, and our contestants have to identify who said them on the left and about whom on the right. Once they've answered correctly, the names will disappear, but they must answer correctly in order to move on. It's 2 points for a correct answer, but beware some extremely red herrings. Alison, it's your turn. The lists will appear now, and your time starts now. Who said of whom, "One cannot judge his opera after a first hearing, and I have no intention of sitting through it a second time"?
Rossini, Puccini,
It was Rossini, but not Puccini.
Wagner, Rossini,
Yes,
Wagner.
correct. Who said of whom, "He was charming as always," which means that he was as charming as a dead mouse in a loaf of bread?
Bernard Levin, Bob Geldof,
No.
W.S. Gilbert and Puccini,
No.
Keith Richard, Bob Geldof,
No.
Bernard Levin, Andrew Lloyd Webber,
No.
Clive James,
Yes.
Bob Geldof,
No. It was Clive James.
Chuck Berry,
No.
Andrew Lloyd Webber,
No, think of someone famously not charming.
John McEnroe.
Yes, absolutely. Who said of whom, "I love his work, but I couldn't warm to him even if I was cremated next to him"?
Gilbert and Puccini,
No.
David Jacobs and Chuck Berry.
It was about Chuck Berry, but who could
Keith
have said it?
Richards.
Yes, correct. Gosh, well done. All right. Ian, here are your lists coming up now, and your time starts now. Who said of whom, "Nothing but old fags and cabbage stumps of quotations from the Bible and the rest, stewed in the juice of deliberate, journalistic, dirty-mindedness"?
Oh. John Brown of Lord Byron.
No.
William Faulkner of Lord Byron.
No, nothing about Byron at all.
Percy Shelley. No. Bevan of Oscar Wilde.
No.
Lady Caroline Lamb of Prince
No.
Albert.
Shall I tell you? D.H.
Please.
Lawrence about James Joyce, who said he has never been known to use a word that might send a reader to the dictionary.
William Faulkner
Yes.
of Ernest Hemingway.
Yes, well done, correct. Who said of whom, "He is mad, bad and dangerous to know"?
Percy Shelley of Lord Byron.
It was about Lord Byron, it wasn't Shelley.
Lady Caroline Lamb
Yes,
of Lord
correct.
Byron.
Who said of whom, "He is a man..." Oh, I'll just tell you, he's a man suffering from petrified adolescence, and it was Nye Bevan about Winston Churchill. All right, Howard, your 2 columns are coming up now, and your time starts now. Who said of whom, he doesn't dye his hair, he bleaches his face?
Michael Foot about Ted Heath.
No.
Johnny Carson
Yes.
about Ronald Reagan.
Yes, correct. Who said of whom, a politician passed his sell-by date?
Neil Kinnock about Ted Heath.
Correct. Who said of whom, she breaks wind all the time, she farts like a priest?
Michael Foot about Margaret Thatcher.
No.
John Mortimer about Julie Andrews.
It was about Julie Andrews, amazingly, but not Mortimer.
Ruby Wax.
No.
Stephen Fry.
Yes, correct. Who said of whom, I am thoroughly in favour of her visit to the Falklands. I find a bit of hesitation, though, about her coming back.
Michael Foot about Margaret Thatcher.
It was about Margaret Thatcher, but not Foot.
John Mortimer.
Correct. John Mortimer about Margaret Thatcher. You completed a lot. Well done. At the end of that round, the scores are Howard on 12 points, Alison on 14 points, and Ian on 15 points. It's all getting terribly close, isn't it? So for this round, it's fingers on buzzers. I'll read a quotation and give an anagram of who said it. When you've worked it out, buzz in. If you need a clue, I'll give you one, but the points go down accordingly. All right, everybody ready? Fingers on buzzers. Who said, computers are useless, they can only give you answers? The anagram is Isaac Pop Slob. Born 1881, died 1973. Paul McCartney wrote a song based on his last words. Had a blue period. Howard.
Pablo Picasso.
Correct. Who said, social progress can be measured exactly by the social position of the fair sex, the ugly ones included. Anagram, Ram Larks. Yes, Ian.
Karl Marx.
Correct. Who said, I have measured out my life with coffee spoons? Anagram, toilets. Born 1888, died 1965. A poet whose estate continues to benefit from one of his works in particular. Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Alison.
T.S. Eliot.
Correct. Who said, an elevator operator never hears the end of a good story. Anagram, Snow Leads. Pianist and... Alison.
Les Dawson.
It was Les Dawson. I think you'd get that before I gave the clue. I think you buzzed in advance. Who said, as far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. And the anagram is, talent is in beer.
Is it
Ian.
Albert Einstein?
It is, correct. Who said, I have the simplest tastes, I am always satisfied with the best, and the anagram is sidecar owl. Born 1854, died 1900. Alison.
Oscar Wilde.
Correct. Well done, you've completed the lot, and at the end of that round the scores are Howard with 13 points, Alison with 21, and Ian in the lead with 25 points. We return now to the familiar subject board. The rules are the same as before, but it's a bit more difficult now because there are only 3 subjects to choose from, and your time limit is only 60 seconds. So Howard, which is your subject?
Animals.
Animals. You've chosen animals, and your time starts now. Who was described by the comedian Nick Hancock as the animal equivalent of the Tonka toy?
Clue.
They hibernate.
Tortoises.
Yes, correct. Who said, "I wish they were like the white rhinos, 6 of them left in the Serengeti National Park, and all males"?
Clue.
4 legs and a tail?
Tigers.
No.
Lions.
No.
Elephants.
No.
Clue.
Popular pets?
Dogs.
Yes, correct. Who said, what was defined by the 19th century writer Samuel Butler as an egg's way of making other eggs?
Omelets.
No.
Clue.
It's the middle woman.
Clue.
It came first, or did it?
Eve.
No.
Clue.
Can be battery type.
Hens.
Exactly correct. Which animal was famously described by Ogden Nash in the following terms? One end is moo, the other milk.
Cow.
Correct. Oh, well done. Gosh, that went terribly fast, it seemed, didn't it? Alison, which subject would you like?
Children, please.
You've chosen children, and your time starts now. Who said children are completely egotistic? They feel their needs intensely and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them.
Clue.
Dates 1856 to 1939.
W.C. Fields?
No.
Clue.
Gave his name to a mistake.
Clue.
Clement and Emma are related.
Freud?
Yes, correct. Who said children today are tyrants? They contradict their parent, gobble their food, and tyrannize their teachers.
Clue.
Born in Athens in 469 BC.
Aristotle?
No.
Clue.
Fought in the war with Sparta.
Clue.
Plato recounts his trial and death.
Can't think. No. Pass.
It's Socrates. Who said familiarity breeds contempt and children?
Clue, please.
Dates 1835 to 1910.
Clue.
Took his alias from the Call of Boatmen on the Mississippi. It was actually Mark Twain. All right, Ian, you're left with only one subject. The subject is money, and your time starts now. Who said any man who has $10,000 left when he dies is a failure?
Clue, please.
Australian-born film actor.
Mel Gibson.
No.
Clue.
Dates 1909 to 1959.
Errol Flynn.
Correct. Who said drugs are God's way of saying you're making too much money?
Andy Warhol.
No.
Clue, please.
Comedian actor.
Clue.
Mindy's housemate.
Robin Williams.
Correct. Who said, I think nudity is very tough. They should give you stunt pay for taking your clothes off.
Michael Caine.
No.
Clue.
Got an Oscar for playing a nun in 1995.
Whoopi Goldberg.
No.
Clue.
Married to Tim Robbins.
Susan Sarandon.
Correct. Who said, I don't like money actually, but it quiets my nerves.
Clue.
US boxer, born 1914.
Joe Lewis.
Correct. Who said, I have enough money to last me the rest of my life unless I have to buy something? It was actually Jackie Mason. Well done. At the end of that round, the scores are Alison with 22 points, Howard with 24 points, and Ian still in the lead with 34 points. And now it's time for finishing lines, and there's still plenty of opportunity to amass points even at this late stage. Things might change. A famous quotation will appear on the screen. It could be a famous literary line, a lyric, or a title. The computer will reveal the words in a random order, and when our contestants think they recognize the quotation, they can buzz in with the answer. The points awarded depend on the number of words which remain unrevealed. So fingers on buzzers, everybody. Could we have the first quotation, please? Alison.
When all at once I saw a host of golden daffodils.
No, you're missing just something crucial there. Ian.
When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils.
Absolutely. William Wordsworth smiling upon you. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Next quotation, please. Ian.
Is it women are from Venus, but men are from Mars?
It may well be true, but that's not the quotation.
Is it men are from Venus? Oh, sorry.
You can put men
No,
wherever you
no.
like, but that's not it, no. Alison.
Many are picked, but few are chosen.
No, I've got to have the exact words, I'm afraid. It's many are called, but few are chosen. Could we have the next quotation, please? Howard.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Quite right, correct. Next quotation, please. Alison.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night.
Correct, well done. Next quotation, please. Well, we're out of time, but I will give you the answer to that since it's one of the greatest classics ever written. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names, dear old Rudolph. Well, that was a fun finish to the show, and that's the end of today's programme, and it's time to take a look at the final scores. Tying in second place with 26 points apiece, Alison and Howard, but our winner today with 38 noble points is Ian. Well done, Ian. The prize is book tokens, which we hope you all have a lovely time spending with our compliments. Hope everybody's enjoyed the challenge of taking part today. Thank you for watching, and do join me again when another 3 contestants will be all set to play Quotation Marks.
Peter Stringfellow tattoos and a 60s singer. It's all go in Mallorca, so grab your passport to the sun next on BBC One.
This year, the BBC promises to put even more money into a richer mix of programmes.
We will carry on the search for the best new talent around.
And lead the way with groundbreaking programmes. I said I'd promise, didn't I?
Our promises tell you how we're going to improve our programmes and services. For your copy of this